Sanctions haven't deterred Putin. The last thing he's going to do is kowtow to the West at this time, even with all of the passion that we're seeing from the United States and other NATO allies. He's not impressed by people's passion or heart. Diplomacy clearly seems to be off the table. So what is the next step in terms of getting Putin to desist?
It's a great question, because Vladimir Putin only understands one way of speaking, which is in strength. That's how he views the world. Remember what he did in the KGB. Paul made a great point at the very top. You have to go back to where this man was trained. He treated people and taught people and convinced people to betray their countries. He was a spy runner in the parlance of intelligence work. So that's how he still thinks of himself. He's very famously quoted as, "There is no such thing as a former KGB man." So as we look at this going forward, you've got to look at that through that prism, is somehow the West has to convince Putin that there is going to be a greater price extracted from him for going into Ukraine than he is willing to pay. And so far, at least, the general consensus is that there's been nothing done to him that he did not already bake in to his calculus, with the possible exception of how well the Ukrainians have fought on the front lines. That's the big issue right now. And if the Ukrainians continue to hold out, the one group that may be able to bring Vladimir Putin to his knees is the Russian army itself. If they take enough casualties, the Russian people get upset enough. You wonder if that very inner circle around Vladimir Putin might say to him, enough is enough. Because remember, the inner circle, the generals, all still have billions of dollars in the UAE and in Switzerland and in Panama. They too don't want to become pariahs of the world.
But you can't put Putin in a corner, I would think, is something that he would say. The fact that people around the world, nations, governments around the world are pushing back on him would only be incendiary. Considering his personality and his history, what could be the consequence globally of continuing these strict sanctions on a man who is already bent on war?
It's a great question. That's the balance, right? On one hand, that if you put him into a corner, he's going to fight his way out. The other, my friend Mike Allen over at Axios pointed out that how do you give him an off-ramp? The golden bridge, as Sun Tzu said in his great book, The Art of War. And there's a lot of discussion within the U.S. government and among the allies. How do you give him a way out that does not reward his behavior, but still allows him to save face? The other problem is, if you placate him, the one thing that he's going to keep doing is bad behavior. Same thing with a kid. If you don't punish him enough for throwing a tantrum and you give him a popsicle, he's just going to keep throwing tantrums to get popsicles. Pretty apt analogy for Vladimir Putin. The one time that Vladimir Putin really pulled off is when he was spanked very hard. And that was by Donald Trump during the Syrian war. He had sent troops in, as Paul pointed out, to help Bashar Assad, his Wagner mercenaries, which are a group of ex-special forces guys, the Blackwater, if you will, of Russia. They tried to attack a U.S. base, and the United States called the Russian military and said, "Your guys are attacking ours, stop." The Russian military said, "Those aren't our guys." And the U.S. killed 300 Russian mercenaries without a single U.S. casualty, and sent them all home in body bags, obviously. That did not play well on the world stage, and it's largely, on the Russian street especially, it's largely seen as that moment was when Vladimir Putin decided that it was not worth the risk of messing around with Donald Trump, because Mr. Trump would extract a price from him that could be too high to pay.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.